I've got an episode planned out for you today. I was planning on doing it from the studio downstairs, but because someone's eating schedule didn't cooperate with that schedule, I'm here on the couch. I currently have Beba with me, but hopefully I'll be able to transition her off of me while I'm live and not make this too awkward. Maybe Dada will have to come and help with that. Anyway, I'm gonna see if I can pull up. Maybe I have to do this from memory. Anyway, all right, so let me do my intro. I'm trying to hold this as steady as I can. Okay. Hey guys, so last week I talked about how challenging it is becoming a new mommy, a new parent even. It was 3 weeks after having Amelia, and so that makes today 4 weeks. And what a difference a week can make. So if there's three things in life that I've learned, it's if you want to catch a cat, put a box on the ground. If you want it to rain, get your car washed. And if you want to get your baby to spit up, put a clean onesie on it. Okay, no, those are not the top three things that I want to teach you, or that I've learned since having a kid. But I did think that was kind of fun. I'm such a dork, I know. Okay, so for real, I'm gonna jump into the top three things that I've learned in the first 4 weeks of being a mom. So number one, and again, I'm doing this from memory. All this is in the notes on my phone, which I don't know if I can access while I am live streaming from my phone. Okay, so one, ask for help, and or more, even better, if people offer help, take it. Doesn't matter what it is. Asking for help or getting help from people who are offering it can be huge in the first few weeks of being a new parent, or even being a parent for a second time or third time or fourth time, or ever. If you brought home a new baby, take help. Especially if you are breastfeeding. And I don't know what it's like to not breastfeed, but I imagine also take that help even if you aren't breastfeeding. Babies have to eat every 2 to 3 hours, newborn babies. And obviously that starts to get better, the older they get. But the first few weeks, like trying to get that schedule where you're feeding them and then changing them and then putting them down for a nap, hopefully, and trying to squeeze in any sort of personal time to complete a thing or two off of your to-do list, or even take a shower, or any sort of self-care, is really, really hard. Let alone sleep in those hours, right? So I am so thankful for my parents. They kept saying, just let us know if you want us to come over. And I said, you know what? Why don't you guys come over? And it was so helpful the first time I said, can you do it again? So I had them over twice last week, and I'm so thankful. So here's what I learned from that. Not only, if you're like, well, I don't know what kind of help to take or what I need help with. I'm also bad at asking for help. Here's my hack. If you're like me and have a hard time asking for help, make your to-do list. What is it that you would be doing if you weren't tied to a baby schedule? What are all the things that you would want to get done? And then when someone offers to help, look at that list and see what it is that they could help with. It doesn't even matter if it's like a thing that you need done right now or if it's done later. It's on your to-do list. So therefore, it's something that you want to get done. Someone's offering to help, and no matter big or small, let them decide if it's something that they do or don't want to do. And I don't think that there's going to be any hurt feelings one way or another, right? So my tip is make a to-do list. If someone offers to help, look at your list and see where they could fit, where their help could fit in. Okay, so that's number one. All right, number two, from memory, here we go. Okay. Breastfeeding is an art. I think feeding is an art. Breastfeeding is an art, and there's a lot of different styles, and no one of them is correct. But also, none of them are the right way, but none of them are the wrong way. I think I said that the way that I meant to. Anyway, the way I meant that for that to come out is however you are choosing to feed your baby, it's correct. But it comes with practice. You're not going to get it right the first time or in the first few weeks because your baby and you are still learning each other. I had someone reach out to me with a very beautifully written email after, I don't know if someone told them that I was having a little trouble last week um, or prior to that, or if they saw my live stream, but they sent a very helpful email that just reminded me that I'm doing a good job and that these times where I get so frustrated that I cry, um, those are the moments to lean into. And the way that was phrased, to lean into those moments, really reframe my perspective on, um, I don't know, like on going through those really tough cries and those really hard feelings, and to lean into it. Like, this is something obviously that doesn't feel good. Why would I lean into it? But the truth is like these moments are super special. I'm gonna look back on this time being a new mom, and it's most likely the only time oops, I'll ever be a new mom. So this pain is temporary, is what I keep saying to myself. So to lean into the discomfort of figuring out the feeding schedule and the frustration of crying at night and everything was great advice. Because there's going to be times in life where I'm going to have these hard moments again, and I'll remember then also to lean in and remember that these are milestones, and and there's going to be a lot of tears with those milestones. Um, so I last week my episode was really kind of just sharing how tired I was, how hard it was figuring everything out. That I had been crying. I think I was exhausted, and it was an episode where I don't know. The way Bert said it was like, well, it wasn't your best episode, but you know what? To be honest, it was. I thought that it was just real. It was raw. It captured how I was feeling and how hard this is. Um, so the breastfeeding tip I have is, or the feeding tip that I have in general, because again, whether you're choosing formula or pumping or breastfeeding or a combination of two or all three of those, um, it's it doesn't matter what it is, but feeding every 2 to 3 hours is hard. So my advice is at least one of them, have your partner do it. So that may mean a little extra preparation, such as pumping in advance, so that you can get a little bit extra sleep, or so that you can choose to do something during the day. My suggestion is to make sure that it happens at night, so that you can at least get a stretch of maybe 3 to 4 hours of sleep. Which doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're a new mommy, that is a lot. And it makes a big difference, because otherwise you're waking up. And when they say every 2 to 3 hours, it's not like it's 2 hours from when your last feed ended. That is 2 hours from when your feed started. And that feed could have taken an hour. And I'm not exaggerating that guys, at all, because it's maybe 15 minutes per boob, but you have to burp baby, you have to get baby latched, you have to burp them in between, you have to change them, um, and then you have to try and settle them back down so that they go into their best and actually go to sleep. Yeah, it is not crazy. I'm not saying this like to exaggerate. I have run basically from one feeding into the next without going to sleep. It's rough. But here's the good news. It's week 4, and I'm glad to say that things have gotten better. And this has been with me talking to a lactation consultant. It's been talking to the pediatrician, and it's been talking and reading other posts in a Facebook group. Are you all done? Okay. Well, you're covered in milk. We'll get help when we can. Okay, you're just gonna chill there, right? Okay, she's sleeping. Uh, it's reading other people's questions and other people's answers to those questions, and then also doing some research online too, knowing the right questions to ask too. And I asked a lot of wrong questions before finally figuring out the right ones to ask in order to find the information I needed. So here's a couple tricks that in addition to having someone do at least one of the feedings for you. I also found that changing baby before you feed them is the time to change them, because by the time that you get them fed, they are sleepy, and changing them just wakes them up, and then all of a sudden you're in this vicious cycle of not going to sleep or not being able to get them down for a nap. So change and then feed and then put them down. Some people recommend doing feed on one breast or feed half the bottle, then change, and then feed the other half. Sometimes what happens is you can start baby off fine, and then they get super sleepy when they're feeding, just like baby is now. Hey, Bert.
Yep, give me 1 second.
Cool. Thank you. And then, yeah, the change will help wake them back up, and then you'll be able to finish the feeding without them falling asleep on you. Okay, so that's the other tip, is just, yeah, the breastfeeding thing. It takes time. I will tell you that my own personal challenge has been that I started with a nipple shield due to various reasons.
Ready?
Yep, go ahead. You take your, cool.
Keep your camera up.
Yep.
Got her.
There you go. All done without any issue here. Okay. My challenge has been getting weaned off of the nipple shield and using. Oh, I know she's messed. Hold on, I'll give you this. Yeah. Here you go. So we're handing the burp rag back and forth so that I go first clean all the milk she spilled on me, and then now all the milk she spilled on herself. And she needs a burp, yeah. Okay. So weaning off of the nipple shield has been a challenge for me, because it could take weeks. You know, if you're lucky, it could take 1 week. She's gotten better, and here's also the thing, is that you could go one of those, 2 steps forward, 1 step back type of things. She latched the other day, and it was the most amazing feeling ever, and it was like, wow, this is the highlight of my life right now. And you would never think that that's the kind of thing that really gets me excited, but now that's what parenthood is these like series of other wins that you never expected. So she's starting to latch, and it's extremely exciting, but it takes time, and it takes practice and trial and error. So if you're going through breastfeeding or feeding, and there's lots of crying by you and the baby, just know that it does get better. Okay, hold on. I don't know if this is going to change my camera for a second.
She's trying to latch onto my hand.
Oh my gosh! If you do need more milk for her, there's some in the fridge that you can use.
She's got a hold of my knuckle. Yep, she's latched onto my hand.
Oh my god!
You're gonna be very.
Okay, hopefully I didn't freeze there, and if I did, I apologize. But here's my last tip. Cues are the keys to mama paradise.
Such a dumb person.
So this is a new one that I learned, is that babies have different cries. Newborn babies have different cries depending on what it is that they want. So how cool is that their cry for more food is actually different than their cry that they're uncomfortable because of a dirty diaper, or that they have gas, or that they're bored. Babies don't have a lot of needs right now, but they do have ways to tell you about those needs that they have. And if you can fine tune your ears to those cries, you can actually help them faster and prevent those giant, meltdown cries that just breaks your mommy or daddy heart, where they're just, screaming so hard that they kind of have that, like, anyway, you don't need me to mimic it. So anyway, those are my tips, my top 3 tips for the first 4 weeks of being a new parent. I hope that they're helpful to you. I guess I want to finish today's episode by asking if you have any tips that you want to share to other parents, or what was the best tips that you got when you became a new parent that other people gave to you that you really held on to as sage advice. So I would love to hear what you can share with others, or even like big tips of like things not to do versus things to do, and or even products that you swear by. Maybe that'll be another episode that I do another time. Um, I had asked Bert if he had any tips or suggestions or things that he learned in the first 4 weeks that he wanted to share. Did you have any, Bert?
Teamwork makes the dream work.
All right. He said teamwork makes the dream work. So I couldn't agree more. I couldn't. I don't. I know I've said this before, but I don't know how single moms do it. I don't know how single parents of multiple children do it. I I I can't even put myself in those shoes at all. I can't. Bert and I are doing very, very good at this together, if I can say so myself. Something super sweet that happened this morning was my early morning shift was over with our baby, and I had come to put her back down in the bassinet. And it was during that time that I had read, I can't remember, that they need to self-soothe in the bassinet. We have a challenge with her wanting to sleep in our arms rather than the bassinet, so I was doing research on how to fix that. And I had found some advice, and so I decided to put it into action immediately rather than just throughout the day. Anyway, so I said to Bert, I'm like, she's gonna cry, but if it's okay with you, I'd like to let her cry so that she self-soothes. So he's like, yeah, that's fine, sleepily. So then I put her down and she's crying, and then Bert cuddles me, and that was like the first time. I don't know the last time that we cuddled like that in bed, and the baby cried. How long do you think the baby cried? It felt like
it was probably like 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
Oh my god. Okay, it felt like 45 minutes, and Bert's saying it was like 15 minutes tops. I couldn't take it anymore. The baby never stopped crying. I hadn't read yet about the cues. Or maybe I had, and I hadn't figured out the cues yet. But anyway, it was a failure first thing in the morning. But success story today. Cool thing is we have been learning her cues, and we have successfully done the routine where we change her, feed her, and then swaddle her, and then she goes right down for a nap. And I'm probably jinxing it, and Bert's like, you have to stop saying these things.
Classic Clementine.
Classic Clementine move. I'm knocking on wood now.
Oh, that's what.
But yeah, so we are. I communicate these things to Bert, that I want to try these changes and see if they work, and he's able to jump on board. I also communicate my needs about if I need food or if I need time. And Bert is extremely willing to help out with that, and he helps out in other ways too. Like when I'm done feeding, he swaddles her and takes her to the bassinet so that I can do what I need to do next, which might be breastfeeding or just getting cleaned up or whatever. So him going back to work, I'm trying to be as respectful as possible of his time, and what he needs to be doing. But he is able to take a few minutes away to help out still. So I'm very thankful for work at home jobs, and that Bert has one. So that's it, guys. That is where we're at, and I just want to say again, if you're a parent going through, these moments of, where you feel like you just want to cry because things are so hard, it gets better, I promise. And I will probably go through another week where things are falling apart again, and we have to refigure everything out, and I'll probably be crying, but hopefully I'll look back onto this episode and remind myself that things get better and you will figure it out. So thanks for hanging out. Again, if you have advice for other parents, and I'd be happy to bring them up on next episode and read them out loud to everybody, and include them all in one place. Go ahead and leave them in the comments. I saw a few people pop up and say things during the live stream, so thanks for hanging out with me and chiming in. And to everybody else that's watching, or watching the replay, thank you for hanging out. And also, one last thing is so if you have sent us a gift of any kind, homemade or from our registry, or a thoughtful thing that you put together for us, or monetary, whatever it may be, thank you. I'm sure that you know that we are very grateful for your gift, but to me, it's very important to acknowledge it one on one. And I hope you can understand how crazy everything has been in the schedule that I outlined earlier in this episode, how crazy it is. We have not been able to actually send very many thank you cards out at all. I think maybe 3 total. But it is something that I am working on. So please know that if I haven't reached out to you personally to thank you for your generosity, it is definitely not overlooked, and I appreciate everything that we've received. My dad just reminded me that next Monday is a holiday. While I do a live stream, I will try to. I don't know. Honestly, days of the week around here, weekends, weekdays, holidays, they all seem the same. So I will plan to go live, and if I don't, I'll post a comment on our Facebook page and the YouTube community page. Maybe we'll do a makeup episode later in the week. So thank you to everybody who supported us, and I hope to see you guys, if not next Monday, then a different day next week to give you another update. All right, thanks for hanging out, and have a great week. Bye.